Welcome back to the Veteran Teacher Files. I'm your host, the Dragon Lady, where we keep the stories real, the names anonymous, and the coffee stronger than copier room gossip. Now, today's episode, this one is for every teacher who has ever made the mistake of believing they could leave work at work. Spoiler alert, you can't. Because somehow, somewhere, at any given moment, a student, a parent, or former student is always nearby. Always. You could be buying snacks at Target, ugly crying in your car, dancing at a wedding, ordering tacos at midnight, or just existing like a normal human being, and suddenly you hear, "Miss?" and your soul leaves your body. So today, we're talking about what happens when teachers get spotted out in the wild. Now, let me really paint a picture for you. This was right after our back-to-school barbecue. You know, the event before school actually starts, where everybody's smiling, introducing themselves, pretending we all have our lives together. It was the very first day meeting parents and students for the year. So all day long, I'd been shaking hands, learning names, answering questions, smiling until my cheeks hurt. And it was hot. Not cute summer hot. Like, why does the parking lot feel like a frying pan kind of hot? By the end of the event, my teacher battery was gone, completely dead. So on my way home, I stopped at Safeway. And I decided I was going to purchase a 6-pack of beer. Because after 4 straight hours of, "Hi, I'm so excited for this year," while internally overheating, I'd earned it. So there I am, carrying my 6-pack through the store, looking like a woman who had survived a natural disaster. I get to the checkout line and suddenly, tap, tap, tap. I turn around and it's one of the dads I literally just met at the barbecue, standing there with his wife and my soon-to-be student. Now listen, there are moments in life where your brain completely short-circuits. This was one of them, because suddenly I'm standing there thinking, fantastic! These people have known me for exactly 6 hours, and this is the impression I'm leaving. And the dad looks down at what I'm holding and just busts out laughing. Not rude laughing, more like, okay, now I understand, teachers. And then this man says, "Let me buy that for you." Sir, I was already fighting for my dignity at the Safeway checkout line. Meanwhile, his wife is laughing, the child is starting to stare at me, like they just discovered teachers don't power down into charging stations at night. And I'm over here clutching my 6-pack like, hello, I'm still a professional educator. So, this became one of those stories that gets funnier over time because that moment perfectly sums up what it's like teaching in the same community where you live. You're never off duty. Parents and students will find you at Target, at Costco, at the gas station, or looking absolutely feral at Safeway. Maybe it's good for them to realize teachers are real people too. Really tired people who sometimes need a beer. All right, now this one. All right. So we were celebrating one of the teachers getting married. A full bachelorette party energy. And listen, I was in my late 20s at the time, so most of the staff around me were either in their mid to early 20s. We were young, we were tired, we were underpaid, and apparently we were determined to squeeze every ounce of fun out of a Saturday night. So there we were at the bar, music blasting, everybody's dressed up, laughing too loud, acting like we didn't have lesson plans waiting for us on Sunday. We were all lined up at the bar, ready to do a shot. Now here's the lineup. It was like almost half the school. The secretary, some teacher aides, a few of us teachers from different grades, kinder, first grade, third grade, fifth grade. You know, we just looked like an educational version of a girl band reunion. And just as I'm about to down my shot, I hear, "Miss Dragon Lady?" Rude. So rude. I turn around mid-shot, choking on my own bad decisions, and it's the parent of one of my current students. Not just some random parent, a parent whose child was in my class that year. Now listen carefully. There are levels of panic. And then there's running into a current parent while taking a shot with half of your staff. Panic. Because suddenly my brain starts trying to process everything. Like, did she just see that? Does she recognize everybody? Are we about to become Monday morning gossip? Is this the beginning of my villain origin story? And the parent looks past me and realizes, yeah, it's not just me. It's half the school staff. The secretary, some aides, some teachers, everybody. And the look on her face was priceless. Like she had just discovered teachers don't live in classroom closets waiting to be activated every morning. The funniest part is how fast all of us switched right back into teacher school employee mode. 1 second, we're taking shots, we're screaming out to inappropriate lyrics, and the next, oh, hello, wonderful seeing you. Hope you're enjoying your evening. Like, ma'am. But thankfully, the parent was cool. Nobody made it weird. And yeah, that story makes me laugh because perfectly sums up how bizarre teaching can be, especially when you work in the same community where you live. You don't just run into parents, you run into them at exactly the wrong moment. I think one of the strangest things about teaching is that students forget we're actually people. To them, we live at school. Like we recharge in the teacher workroom overnight, hanging upside down like bats. But let me tell you, I got a real slap of reality one day at Ross. I was shopping for bras and underwear, just minding my business, living my life, trying to buy my grown woman necessities in peace. And out of nowhere, a student pops out from between the clothing racks. And I swear my soul left my body. Because suddenly I'm standing there holding an armful of bras, trying to act casual while mentally preparing to move to another state. Now, the student didn't realize what I was shopping for. He was just excited to see me. But then, his mom comes around the corner looking for him. And the second she sees what I'm holding, she freezes. I freeze. Everybody freezes. It was like one of those old sitcom moments where nobody knows what to say. And in my head, I'm already trying to explain myself for absolutely no reason. Like, ma'am, I promise I wear regular clothes under my teaching outfits. And that was the moment I realized how weird teaching really is. Because what should have been a completely normal shopping trip suddenly felt scandalous. Simply because I'm a teacher, not a celebrity, not a politician, just a teacher trying to buy underwear and bras at Ross. Sometimes people forget teachers are human beings first. Not classroom decorations, not educational robots, just people trying to survive like everybody else. And speaking of never being off duty, one summer, I was working a completely different job just trying to make extra money. Regular summer hustle. I was working behind the counter at a local amusement park thinking, finally, a break from teacher mode. Wrong. Now, here's an important detail. That particular year, I had been working in a school with a very strict uniform policy. Shirts tucked in at all times. And as the Dragon Lady, oh yeah, I enforced it. I saw an untouched shirt from across the campus, and I would notice it. If kids saw me coming, they'd start to tuck in before I even said anything. So there I am at my summer job behind the counter at this amusement park, completely out of teacher mode. And suddenly, one of my students walks up. And the second he recognizes me, this child automatically starts tucking in his video game t-shirt instinctively. Didn't even think about it. Just immediately starts shoving fabric into his shorts while looking panicked. And then he starts looking around nervously too, asking if my teacher's aide was with me. This poor kid really thought, 1, school rules still applied at amusement parks, and 2, my teacher's aide and I were apparently patrolling together like educational law enforcement. That reaction told me everything I needed to know about my reputation that year. I had this child so conditioned that even surrounded by roller coasters and funnel cakes, his first instinct was, tuck in the shirt! Meanwhile, I'm standing there in a completely different uniform, trying not to laugh behind the counter. And that is when I realized that teaching follows you everywhere. You can leave the classroom, but the classroom never fully leaves you. especially if you spent 9 months becoming the shirt-tucking enforcer on campus. But over the years, I've learned something important. Our students and families seeing us as real people isn't necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes it's actually healthy. They learn that teachers have families, teachers go out, teachers get tired, teachers laugh, and teachers exist beyond lesson plans and grading. And maybe that human connection matters more than we realize. But I will say this, I'm very glad that a lot of my younger teaching years happened during the infancy of social media, because back then, people mostly posted their thoughts on Facebook, not every second of their lives. There was no Instagram, no TikTok, no burn accounts, no Meta glasses recording people without them even realizing it. Half of Facebook back then was just people posting dramatic song lyrics about vague statements like, "Don't text me, I'm done." That was social media back then, and we got lucky because a few years ago during my admin program, we were assigned to go through our social media accounts. That assignment humbled all of us. We were sitting there scrolling through ancient albums like, "Oh no," or "Absolutely not," or "Why didn't anybody stop me from posting this?" And there were innocent enough pictures, sharing drinks with friends at Super Bowl parties, wine nights with the girls, posing in little black dresses somewhere in Vegas, birthday dinners, vacations, regular young adult life. But suddenly you start looking at everything differently once you move into leadership, because now everything gets captured, everything gets posted, and everything can be screenshotted in about 3 seconds. And today, the pressure is even bigger for younger teachers. One awkward moment can end up online before you even get home. People are quicker to judge, quicker to record, and quicker to cancel. So I think there's a strange balancing act now. You still need to stay human. You still deserve a personal life. You should still laugh with your friends, travel, celebrate, and exist outside your profession. But at the same time, you do represent something. Whether we like it or not, teachers carry the weight of being public figures in their communities. Families trust us with their kids. Students watch us more closely than we realize. And that doesn't mean we have to become robots. It just means we have to move with awareness. I think that's the real lesson. Not perfection, just awareness. Because at the end of the day, we're human beings first. Just human beings who apparently can't even buy beer at Safeway in peace. So today's question for all of you listening: have you ever run into a student, parent, or coworkers somewhere completely unexpected? And what was your most awkward, caught in the wild moment? I know you all have stories. Send them in and leave a comment. And if today's episode made you laugh, cringe, or relive your own teacher trauma in the Target checkout line, make sure you subscribe, follow, and share the podcast with your teacher friends, because you know they've got stories too. I'm your host, the Dragon Lady, reminding you, teachers may leave campus, but apparently we never truly clock out. See you next time.